Hello, welcome to Learn DLF. On behalf of the panel of speakers, I would like to thank you for attending today's tutorial, Case Studies for Implementing Microsoft Office 365 Tools into Digital Project Workflows. The learning goal for today's session is to demonstrate how Microsoft Office 365 can operate as an integrated platform or web, as we have illustrated on the slide. Office 365 has proven to be a one-stop shop for cultural heritage and academic institutions. You purchase once and you get multiple capabilities. Today, we plan to highlight a selection of tools from Microsoft Office 365. Those are Teams, Planner, Forms, Lists, and Power Automate. So without further delay, I pass the presentation on to my colleagues. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Calida Barboza, Assistant Professor and Digital Innovation Librarian at Millersville, University of Pennsylvania, one of 14 schools in the Pennsylvania State System of Higher Education. At Millersville, we have one library. When I started at the library about 2 years ago, I encountered the problem of scattered digital project documentation. Documentation, when it existed, lived in individual employee emails, on their computer hard drives, and sometimes in a shared drive that the university was moving away from. This sparse project documentation lacked documented rationale for decisions that were made, which meant that I had to speak to two or three people to get a sense of a history of past projects that possibly inform current projects. Because there was limited project tracking, I also had to speak with folks to get a sense of the status of current projects. So the solution to this problem that I identified was using Microsoft Teams. One of my co-presenters described Teams this way. It's like if Zoom and Slack had a baby. So in addition to providing a central location for all of our documentation, we were also able to use a chat functionality to communicate quickly with each other while working on certain projects. Using the chat functionality provided us a nice balance between email and going to people's offices when we were on site, or kind of interrupting them with phone calls or Zoom meetings. It was an ideal solution. So what kind of documents did we create or store or organize within this space? Were documents that were sometimes project plans, Excel spreadsheets that were often data dictionaries, PDFs of things like contracts or a committee charge, and video files for student employee training. In the screenshot, I am showing our general team space, the Digital Assets Committee general team space. And there are several folders here. Most of the folders in this space are named after our individual projects. In some cases, there are folders that are defined by content type, so contracts or a committee charge. So some of the benefits of this approach are, making the content accessible in a central location, right? Like the direct solution to the problem that we articulated, but also to provide transparency to people outside of the committee. So other library employees who might be interested in collaborating or contributing to some of these projects. And they're able to do that because this space enabled us to say, hey, this is what our team is doing. This is what our team is, and this is what our team is doing, right? And so we've made it very clear to people outside of the committee kind of what's going on. Having all of this information in one place also enables us to more easily report to external stakeholders, folks outside of the library, and also to administration. Thanks a lot.
At the Corning Museum of Glass, we had begun our migration to Office 365 at the end of 2019. But when COVID-19 struck, we had to make some operational changes that meant we were sort of stuck in limbo between the migration of two digital asset management systems, one of which we had to shut down earlier than expected. At the same time, we needed to fulfill external reference inquiries, publication and exhibition planning requests on a pretty tight turnaround. In the past, we would have done all this work over email or even just by leaning over the cue ball and asking where something was. In order to mitigate the impacts of COVID, where everyone was working from home, we needed to find a new way to do this. We turned to Microsoft Forms, which is the equivalent of Google Forms, and directly integrated with Office 365. It offers limited branching for complex questions, but a pretty straightforward interface. When a form is submitted, a line is automatically added to an Excel sheet, but we wanted a little bit more awareness of when new requests were coming in. We used Power Automate to create a notification in Microsoft Teams that also allowed us to have follow-up conversations with staff requesters. Power Automate also added a card to a Microsoft Planner so that digitization staff could leave notes for one another, and also tasks could be assigned to different people who might be able to resolve and fulfill their request.
Hello, I'm Bethann Ray, and I'm the Digital Collections Management Librarian at Penn State University Libraries. Today, I will be talking about project ingest and workflow management. So our problem was that there was interest in building digital collections for materials that are housed at more than 20 campuses across Pennsylvania. So our goals were to simplify the project proposal process and track activities between multiple departments. Additionally, we wanted to implement a university-supported tool that would promote transparency when building digital collections. So our solution for this was Planner. So we built a planner board for digital projects that library stakeholders could use to track their progress and document decisions about building a specific digital collection. You can see that in my presentation slide here that we have a lot of different projects going on and several different queues and buckets for tracking our digital projects. The great part about using Planner for us was that it was a university supported application that made no additional cost to the library. Previously, before using Planner, we were using an equivalent product called Trello. So another solution that we implemented along with Planner was that we also built our new project proposal form that simplified it down to 10 questions. And when a form is submitted, the details are gathered in Power Automate through this workflow, and a task is created and added to the planner board in the intake queue, and notifications are sent out. Now, this example that I have here is actually for the Right Statements Review Group, which is a subgroup of the digital projects team. And this is for ingest of rights review requests from different parties across the campuses. And if you have any questions regarding this workflow that I have here demonstrated, please feel free to reach out to me at baz5008@psu.edu. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Rachel Senese, and I am the Digital Projects Coordinator at Georgia State University, and I'm here to talk about how we incorporated lists for project and workflow management. So our problem was that digital projects historically has relied on spreadsheets for project tracking and an online web form for project submission. This has caused a lot of versioning issues, workflow interruptions, dependencies on one person, as well as the black hole syndrome, where once a project came to digital projects, communication was non-existent or non-transparent. So we needed to find an integrated, interactive project management solution that the university would support. So our solution was to use Office 365s and Microsoft Teams. So all of our activities would be through the Teams portal with the exception of Microsoft Forms. So once we implemented an approval queue, that was accessed through Microsoft Teams, and our master tracking lists were also available within a channel within Teams. And our Microsoft form replaced the static web form because it could plug and play with a lot of the tools within Office 365. So we utilize lists instead of Planner for our project management and tracking. We use lists for our master tracking. So you can see in the image to the left. We also use lists to track our digitization workflow on a folder level, which you will also be able to see in the animated image on the left. We were able to build in notifications to alert staff when various activities were completed, so that way they would know instead of having to rely on communication and physically asking, hey, are you done yet? We also wanted to tie in all of our different tools together. And so we utilized Power Automate to do that. We created a flow utilizing the send form response for approval template. And what that did was once an archivist submitted a project, it would go to an approval queue within the head of special collections and myself. Once both of us approved it, an email was sent to the archivist letting them know, hey, your project has been approved. And then an entry into our master tracking list was created. And an alert was sent to the digital project staff to let them know that we have a new project. If a project was denied for whatever reason, an email was also sent to let the submitter know that a project was denied. This has been very helpful, and we've definitely seen an increase in efficiency from it. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. My email is rsenese@gsu.edu. We've also created a list of resources for anybody who's interested in learning more about the Office 365 tools and how they may be able to implement them. The Microsoft websites have been incredibly helpful. LinkedIn Learning and the YouTube channel has also been helpful. We've also linked to a presentation as well as a practical guide for your ease of use. If you have any questions about any of the presentations you've seen today, please feel free to contact us at our email listed below. Thank you for your time.